Let's talk for a second about being happy in a foreign country. And I totally think that this relates to just being happy, period. I think all these principles apply to any aspect of life, but I think they're exacerbated, um, kind of amplified in when you're, living abroad. Um, so there's just a lot of things here that are different. I live in Ecuador. I'm sure you can, this is going to be true for a lot of places, anywhere that you're not familiar with, right? There's just a lot of things that are different, and I'm sure some of them are going to drive you crazy because they drive me crazy. They drive lots of other people crazy, and I think like your quality of life, how much you enjoy living here or living in any place that you're not accustomed to, is going to greatly depend on how easily you can just roll with the punches and accept the way things are where you're at without complaining and getting worked up and getting frustrated and stressed and annoyed. Um, and that's a challenge, I think, for everybody. It's a challenge for me. I don't know what examples will pop into my mind while I'm talking, but stuff's different here, man. The culture is different. Um, the ways of going about things are different. There's way less privacy. There's really no such thing as fiduciary responsibility when you're dealing with professionals. There's a lack of sort of quality professionalism in certain ways. Your level of service, like in restaurants and stuff, is going to be nowhere near what you're accustomed to in most places. There's lots of little silly things that like maybe don't just don't make sense per se, and those things can grind on you if you let them, and you can feel frustrated and upset, and like that's gonna make your quality of life shitty. So my advice, I mean, it's like napkins. Like you go to restaurants, very often they give you one paper napkin, for a cheeseburger or something, right? So, or whatever you're eating that could be messy. Um, you know, there's just lots and lots of things that are just not quite, certainly how I'm used to them, or maybe how someone might expect them. Things are just done differently. People deal with time differently. People deal with follow through differently. Getting stuff done, dealing with government, very different. Um, and you got to learn the system and roll with it, and accept that stuff and just enjoy life, because if you get all worked up about it, and it's going to affect your quality of life. So biggest number one advice I can give to you as someone considering living here or anywhere else is enjoy the good things about it, because there's tons. The nature and the food and the people and the culture and the climate and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, are amazing. I think it's one of the most beautiful and special places in the world to live. There's lots of them. It's not exclusive to here, but certainly it's an amazing place to live. Um, and lots of stuff's are gonna drive you nuts, and it just kind of depends on how you roll with that. So just accept it. Just learn the things you need to learn about certainly the language and the culture. Figure out how to maneuver within those, that culture and that way of doing things, and enjoy your life, and don't get worked up. When things happen and things aren't quite the way you are used to or you expected. You decided to live in a different place, so you've got to understand that that's gonna happen, and if you can't, then I would say stay where you are, because you're gonna end up going home anyway if you really need things to be kind of very standardized and very sort of clear and cookie cutter, and sort of the way kind of things are more in the States and other places.